Welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna Coles, and today we're visiting with Kristin Hildabrand, Warren County Extension Agent for Horticulture. If people don't know, how to select them or what they are or how to choose, you have some tips for us today.
Generally, we kind of start to see them for Kentucky about, 4th of July-ish because it's a warm season vegetable for us here in Kentucky. But it lengthens out all the way until our first killing frost. This is for like homegrown tomatoes. Now, if you're working with commercial growers, we can see it a little bit later because they have, season extension options like high tunnels or, row covers and things like that. But generally, for the home gardener, we can see it till October at least for options. And so whenever you're looking for tomatoes, there are a couple of things you want to look for. Tomatoes are prone to having some like imperfections to them. So generally what we see is sometimes you'll have what a pear-sucking insect, stink bugs have that. What happens is that it pierces the juices from the tomato fruit. A lot of times it happens before it even ripens, and then you'll have some imperfections underneath the skin. So like this Roma type that we have, you can see kind of there's some yellowing. Other times it could be more cloudy spots that are kind of more white in appearance. So if you're looking for a perfect tomato, then you might want to look for those type of damage, but also you want to look for one that kind of gives a little bit under the pressure. That you're harvesting from it, and that looks pretty uniform in shape. So generally it's not going to affect the taste. A lot of times people when they bring it indoors, they can just cut off some of those blemishes, things of that nature. So that's not going to affect the taste whatsoever.
Yeah. Now I know if you want that perfect slice on the plate, right, you might want to opt for that perfect looking tomato. But if you're going to cut it up into salads or have salsa or something like that, those are perfect.
Yeah. So just kind of look around the plant. Especially if you're harvesting it, outside. But if you're going to like a farmer's market stand or, a certified roadside stand, you can kind of look for some of those that are a little bit, higher quality.
And, some of the heirlooms, they kind of have spots on them, or maybe they're a little gnarly. They're not that perfect round, but that's kind of a characteristic of the heirloom.
Yes. So like speaking of heirlooms, like a lot of times late in the season, we have some like caterpillars that kind of will feed on the fruit. And so like here you can tell probably where that's happened a little bit, but obviously, you could cut that off and it's not going to hurt it or anything because you can have it, like you said, for the salads or the burger that you've got this summer. So just kind of watch for that too. Some of the other things to kind of think about, especially when you're cutting into a tomato, I always like to have like a slicing tomato slicer. So that way, it doesn't hurt like the outside edge of the skin. So if you've got that availability at your house, that works really good. A lot of times people will say, okay, if I bring it inside, how long is it going to last? So generally on like the counter, it's going to even ripen up because tomatoes give off an ethylene gas. So a lot of times, even when you harvest it from the stem or the plant, it's still going to like give off. So a lot of times for like green tomatoes, a lot of times, people will say, how do I know when a green tomato is ripe? So just kind of keep that in mind too. But you can certainly store this on the countertop. Usually it's going to last about 3 days. We don't recommend that you store them in the refrigerator because it's going to affect the texture. It makes it really mushy. So that's why you want to leave it out on the countertop.
Yeah. And so, a lot of times this Cherokee purple, if you turn it over, it's green. And some people might not think this is ripe.
Yes.
But this is a characteristic of this tomato.
Right, right. And some of the other things that you'll notice even too with this one, there's some radial cracking to it. And like I said, with those heirlooms, they're probably not going to be the prettiest tomato, but still the taste is really going to be exemplary for that type of cultivar.
And we talk about eating the rainbow, right?
Yes,
and we have a lot of colors here.
We
and
do.
So maybe to encourage kids who might be a little bit of picky eater to try the rainbow, make it fun.
Right, right.
Because it is really healthy.
Yes, these are great options for you to actually look at as far as health benefits go. So tomatoes are naturally going to be healthy for us. They have good fiber. They also contains vitamin A and also C. Lycopene is one of the things that's really good. It's an antioxidant that helps fight a lot of cancers and things like that. So anytime that you can introduce this to your children, please do, because it is really important to kind of eat the different colors of the rainbow. I think a lot of times people kind of get hung up as a tomato, a fruit, or a vegetable. Technically, it's a fruit because we can consume the seeds, but it's so versatile, really. A lot of people characterize it as more of a vegetable because it goes in a lot of different dishes.
And it's low calorie.
Yes.
We'll see you next time.